What's good, my peeps? Welcome back to JP Sports TV. So we're here to talk West Brom 0, Arsenal 4. Now, many of you guys that have watched me on my channel know that I was Arteta out. So it's gone from Arteta out to now give Arteta a bit more time. You get me? Because he kind of turned things around in the past couple weeks. You get me? Three games, 3 wins, 9 points. We've moved up the table to 11th. Now, it's still not good enough for Arsenal Football Club to be in the position we're at this stage of the season. But, things are changing a bit, and I hope it remains like this, for a long period of time. Now, I'm going to give a big shout out to Kieran Tierney, give a big shout out to Saka, big shout out to Smith Rowe, big shout out to Lacazette, big shout out to Ceballos. They were the standout players for me. Everyone else done all right. Everyone else done well. In defense and in midfield, Xhaka was good. Everyone. But these men stood out for me. Aubameyang, for me, right now, looks moody. He was grumpy throughout the game. Obviously, I understand he's not had a good season. And of course, a game like this is when a striker wants to get his confidence back up and score goals, which is what Lacazette has been doing in the past few weeks. 5 goals in the last 3 games. Nothing can be said. But we're going to start with man like Tierney. Unbelievable. Currently, one of the best fullbacks in the league. I would say probably the second best left back in the league currently on form, probably after Robertson. And what I rate about Tierney is even when Arsenal was shit, he was still putting in performance. He was showing performances that proves that he's worthy of becoming an Arsenal captain in the future. He's got that hunger, that determination, he's got that fighting spirit. And what I love about him is, in the last few games especially, he's becoming almost like a goal threat, scored an unbelievable goal today, cutting on his left, banged it in with his right foot. But prior to the goal, the way he kicked it past the man, you get me, got the ball back. The week before, won a penalty. So he's becoming very dangerous, He's got like an old school way of playing, but he's got the energy of the new school. He's a fit fullback, you get me? You know how the fullback used to play back in the days? Actually cool. It wasn't flamboyant. He wasn't a fullback that was skilling up, man. Because today you got fullbacks now who are tricky, who are almost like wingers. Kieran Tierney is a get the ball, hit it and run. Catch me if you can kind of thing. And he's got the delivery, the end product of it, man. Big him up again. Bukayo Saka, Smith Rowe, I have to big him up because even when he ain't doing too much, he's finding pocket of spaces where it's creating problems for the defence. And now we've got someone who's kind of allowing the strikers to get more involved. Because before it was flat. The midfield was flat. So the strikers didn't really have much service. Now you've got a young man who's finding space. He's always creating problems. And look at the goal for Bukayo Saka's goal. It started with him. Bellerin passed it to Smith Rowe, to Lacazette, back to Smith Rowe, to Saka, goal. Madness. Saka again, one of our best players again on the field today. That young man today I would go as far as to say that this season, he has been the best young player without a shadow of a doubt. Even when Arsenal was shit, he was always putting in performances. Him and Tierney are the two that can say during the whole season they've done well. The rest of them, it's been kind of inconsistent. And that's why you can see someone like Lacazette, who hasn't scored a lot of goals for Arsenal, find himself in situations now where the ball's just coming there. He can be a poacher. We know he's got that old school, he's a small striker, but he knows how to hold up the ball and he's deadly inside the box. This is where he wants to be. But because we've had no creativity, it's like our strikers have tried to do things themselves and it just hasn't worked out. But in the past few games, we've had energy. That's what these young players bring to the team. They bring energy. They get the ball, run at defenses. They make runs, they interchange. Some of the football we're watching today look like the old Arsenal. I'm not going to get full of myself because we only beat West Brom, but I'm just happy that Arsenal are finally playing football that's interesting to watch. I couldn't watch my team properly for such a long time now because the football was boring. And that's why a lot of the Arteta out fans were saying Arteta out, because not only were we losing, the football was atrocious. It felt like we offered nothing going forward. But due to certain things, he's had to kind of change things around and play these youngers. And now you've seen the result. Putting people like Willian and down the bench, you've seen putting someone like Saka in his position or someone like Smith Rowe in the team. These are young guys who are hungry, fearless. You know, they're not old guys like Willian who are no longer as good as they were. You know what I'm trying to say? Not on their retirement stage. These men are young and they're trying to fight for their future. You know, they want to have a good career. So these are the players that should be starting week in, week out. Ceballos, what I love about him is he's that guy there that gets the ball deep and plays forward. He moves around, gets the ball, plays forward. And I think he's highly underrated. People were criticizing him because they felt like he wasn't offering anything going forward. But people don't understand. Ceballos he's not a guy like Smith Rowe who will make runs behind the strikers or will find pocket of spaces forward. He's that guy that likes to come deep, receive the ball, and dictate the tempo of the game. When you have someone like him and have a good number 10 in front of him, you can see this guy is a real Spanish, you get me, a real Spanish baller, you get me. People like David Silva and all these guys, the reason they were so dominant is because they had great players around them. They need that to allow them to do their stuff. But when you're in a team that's losing and you're around, you're getting the ball deep and just playing passes, people think that it's ineffective. Or people don't understand what you're actually doing for the team. You're actually retaining the ball and making it hard for the oppositions to actually dominate possession when you got someone like Ceballos. So big up Ceballos as well, man, because even though he's not been starting, great performance for him today, man. Everyone was great, apart from Aubameyang, who's just off form and moody, man, and hopefully he gets back to form. And one last thing, Sam Allardyce tried to say Arsenal's in a relegation battle. This guy needs to shut his mouth and focus on, on West Brom. Focus on his job of trying to save West Brom in the Premier League. This guy is a manager who everyone knows for negative football. Everyone knows him for being the guy that managed England once and got sacked after he got baited out for doing some fuckeries back in the days, you know. So I don't know where he gets his arrogance from. He tends to rate himself higher than he is. Like, no top team has ever wanted Sam Allardyce. And that's the reality. No top team will ever want him. He will always be that kind of manager that will always lose his job every now and then, because he's always going to be managing teams that are struggling. And if there's no upturn and they don't start giving points, then he's going to get sacked. Just like at West Brom, he got a draw against Liverpool, started blabbing again, saying it was deserved, like this was part of the plan. Then he went to get piped by Leeds United 4-1, and you just got piped by Arsenal 4-0. So I'm going to start off by just saying, Sam Allardyce, take a chill pill, yeah? And go back to managing these relegation teams.